Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we are doing year number 5 of the rebuild of the Montreal Canadiens, and I'm going to just go through the lines. I showed them quickly in the last video, at the end of last video, but I'm going to go through them again. Not really sure what I'm going to be doing with Matheson. I think I'm going to have to put him in though for Kodomaradov or even Reinbacher. Not too sure where he's going to be placed on this team. Um, it will be Reinbacher filling the spot, Matheson on that third pairing. Hage, Zotten, Zotten will be playing in the NHL. I think I'm going to put him in for Kapanen. If the chemistry works out, which it does not, unfortunately, somebody will have to be impacted here. I'm not really sure who it is going to be, but it's got to be somebody, and I can't be having a -2 on this bottom line. It's just not good for chemistry at all. So I think Hage and Zotten will be going down to the minors, and Kapanen and Kapanen, Nomark, and LJ Mooney will be in the NHL. So I'll quickly send down those players right now, do the best lines for the AHL, and then I will start off this year's season. So I'll quickly edit the lines in the AHL quickly, which is just quickly one of these. Head coach preferred lines, have the players I want developing develop. Yeah, and then defensively, this AHL team will definitely be good this year. Regilov's slowly taking a step in the right direction. Waugh is definitely going to have a spot in this team's lineup. With Pickford, there's not really very many other players I can put in, but this AHL team is going to be really good this year. I really can't wait to see what they do. I think it'll be a really a great look for them this year, and I hope we can actually make it out of the first or even the second round. And we really got to start making do with what we have. We need to crack the NHL. I don't know if I did the jerseys. I did not. So my captain is obviously going to be Nick Suzuki. My first assistant captain is going to be Cole Caulfield. And then my second assistant captain is going to be none other than Matheson still. I'm going to catch you, or I will show one thing I forgot to show last time, and that was the awards from last year. I'll quickly show the awards. Stanley Cup winner, back-to-back Canadian Stanley Cup winner in the Edmonton Oilers. The Devils won the President's Trophy. The Edmonton Oilers obviously won the Campbell Trophy. The Prince of Wales Trophy goes to the Sabres. So the Sabres made the Stanley Cup Finals. Then the Art Ross goes to Austin Matthews, Hart Matthews, James Norris, Riley, Austin Matthews, the Lady Bang. So far 4 for 4 for the Leafs. Rosek for the Calder. Draisaitl for the Conn Smythe. The Vezina goes to Zaravinigan, if that's what you'd like to call him. He also wins the Willie Man Jennings. The Bill Masterton Trophy goes to Siegenthaler. Evanson wins his back-to-back at Jack Adams. The Selke goes to JT Miller, which I think is a horrible decision. Ted Lindsay Award goes to Austin Matthews, and the Maurice Richard goes to Austin Matthews. And so now I will be simming straight to none other than the trade deadline, and I will catch you guys there. Hopefully we can, start off the season strong, unlike last season. Hopefully we can, maybe win our division this year. That'd be nice to see. And we're back at the trade deadline, and as we look at our statistical stats this season, Our goals for and our goals against are actually top notch this year. I'm so very happy for that, but there's one thing that just isn't clicking yet again. Yet again, there's one thing that isn't clicking and one thing that just somehow fumbled, and that is our penalty kill. Our penalty kill went from being top 10 in the league to being the 26th ranked penalty kill in the league. Don't know if we should go out and get a defensive player for that fourth line, or if I should keep going with what's hot, with what players are pushing the offense. We are second. We are second in our division, though, which is nice to see. We are second, only down by 1 point, which is nice. Our team leaders consists of Nick Suzuki with 71 points and 17 of them being goals, 54 assists, 70 points from Ivan Demidov, 69 from Cole Caulfield. That is our top line producing so well, and that is great to see. Then we have Lane Hudson at 48 points. Hopefully he can get up to closer to 60 this year. Zarovsky at 46. Hopefully he can get close to 60 as well. Connor McMichael's at 45. Uri Slavkovsky's at 42. Drysdale's at 30. Seneca's at 28. Matheson's 25. Dobson 25. Bobby Brink 23. Might be time to never mind. He went up in overall again. Kirby Doc's at 19 points this season. No Mark is at 16. He's an 82. Uh, David Reinbacher's at 14. He's went down to an 81 though. LJ Mooney is still at a 79. Oliver Kapanen is at an 80 as well. Caden Gooley has 9 points. He is down to an 82, and he is making 5.5, if I'm not mistaken, for 2 more seasons. Um, he's pretty much got a 5. He has a 5-team no trade clause, so might be interested in shopping Gooley for a better defenseman. Um, just somebody that can play more defensively. Our new league leader in points, though, is Jack Hughes. And our goal leader, 62 goals in 62 games, is Austin Matthews. 83 assists for Jesper Bratt, sorry, and Max Domi is second. That's an interesting thing. And Fowler is second in wins. So I'm going to advance a day, and we're going to be heading straight into this trade deadline. I'm very excited to sort of see if there's anybody we can get. Um, Obviously, Kosa is going to be somebody we're shopping, even if we're a buyer, just because he's a backup goaltender for us, and no backup goaltender should be that good, but we decided that we should have a good backup goaltender. Sergachev could be a replacement, former Hab. He is making 9.2 million though, which is a bit pricey. Fronik's only making 3, and he's 2 overalls lower and more defensive, I would say. Well, they're pretty much the exact same statistically so far this season, besides for Fronik has eaten up a bit more minutes, and he's already sold, so never mind. Clark we could go for. He is pretty much the exact same. Um, so I'm going to cut back to when I've decided if I'm going to make a trade and who that trade is going to be for. So I'll be back in just a moment. So this is one of the trades I'm looking at. Caden Gooley, he's down to an 82 overall, and George Peters, prospect we drafted, first round pick of last year's draft, a first and a fourth round pick for Sergachev. That is rejected. I'm going to throw in a second round pick right now in next year's draft to see if that'll sweeten it up just enough. That does not. I'll switch this fourth for a third round pick in 2 years from now's draft to see if that'll do it. A first, second, and third in different years. That is not it. I'll throw in this year's second round pick. That is also rejected. Sergachev is got a ton of X factors. He's 31, so we could probably go with 1 more year. I'm going to throw in another first round pick for next year. See if that sweetens it up in any which way, and that does. That's accepted, and that is great because we just got a huge player. Now I'm also going to be looking at Brant Clark here. He's making a hefty fund, but it's only for $1 million. It's only for 1 year. Um, and we do have a guy in Michael Matheson that needs to get shopped. So Matheson, 2 seconds for Clark. Rejected. I'm going to eat up a bit of his salary. I'm going to retain a bit of his salary. I'm only going to retain about $1 million of his salary. See if that'll get it done. Los Angeles would be under the league minimum in cap. So I kind of have to give them the full amount. So that kind of makes it a bit harder for us. I'm obviously going to give out a prospect, and I'm going to give out Reed, Nolan Reed. Another first round pick of ours, but it's just hard to get prospects to develop when we are such a depthful team. So we just had two big upgrades in Clark and Sergachev. I'm going to see if there's really anything else we can kind of do. I doubt we can. Um, there's not really much else we could fill out besides for a defensive center role. Um, and that's sort of what we're going to look at for a minute. Doubt there's going to be really very many players that have decent cap hits and that are decent players that can play defense. Like an Alex Newhook, that's a pretty decent 1 year, $4 million. I will see. He will fit our cap pretty well. Um, and for our center's position, I think it might be time to shop another one of these prospects, unfortunately. This year is really going to be a year where we are just pushing as hard as we can to get into the playoffs, um, and pushing as hard as we can to just sort of win games consistently. Um, I really want to see this team take a step in the right direction, and with that, I need to see us winning games, and with that, I need us to, make it out of this second round, first round, and we get Alex Newhook as well, so he'll be our fourth line center there. Um, we're really, really, really pushing to be one of the best teams in the league this year. We're pushing as hard as we can, to get these decent players that'll make big adjustments for us. Like we just need a better result than last year, and last year was very disappointing, being swept in the first round by Florida. So, Josh Anderson on has been sent down. We're gonna claim Josh Anderson just to claim him. Um, and now that he's in our lineup, we have system players. So I'm going to send down one of our two-way players, and one of our two-way players just so happens to be LJ Mooney. Unfortunately, we're gonna send LJ Mooney down to Laval. And we are going to quickly go and edit our lineups. So I will come back to when our lines are edited, and I will show you what they look like. And we're back, and these are going to be our new upgraded lines for this season. We have Demidov, Suzuki, Caulfield, Zarovsky, Connor McMichael, and Juraj Slavkovsky, Bobby Brink, Kirby Doc, and Beckett Seneca, Joshua Waugh, who got called up from Laval, Alex Newhook, and Marcus Nomark. And then defensively, we have Hudson, Dobson, Clark, and Sergachev with Kumaratov and Drysdale. And still in net, we have Fowler and Kosa. Fowler is still at that 89 overall, and Kosa's at that 88. So I'm going to sim to the end of the season now. Um, I really hope we can take that number one spot. I think we can. I'd like to hope so very much. It would just be great to see this team, take that step in the right direction, start winning more games. Um, especially because we're playing the Senators. I would love to see us outperform the Senators. Um, and obviously clinch ahead of them and play one of the wild card teams. Obviously, the Devils are going to be a really hard team to beat, of course, in the playoffs. If we do end up going to play them in the playoffs, if we even make the playoffs, but I feel like the playoffs are pretty much bound for us as we have 90 points. It'd be really hard to not make it right now. Hoping this team can maybe squeak out 50 wins this year. That'd be great to see. I'd love really to see it. That'd be a big step in the right direction. We're only 5 wins away from 50 wins, so if we can get that, that would be nice. It doesn't look like we are, though. unless we pretty much now win out for this season, which we lose 8-0 against the Devils. Um, and that is, we are on a big losing streak here. That is a nice win to get. We are only another big win against the Leafs. We're now playing the Senators, and that is a loss and a win, and we tie for the number 1 spot in our division, but we won't be able to clinch that because we lost to the Senators 8-2. So we're second. We're going to be playing the Maple Leafs in the first round, but as there's one thing we have to see, and that is who led our team in points, and that is not what I was trying to get towards. Who leads our team in points? And that is going to be another year of Nick Suzuki at 92, Ivan Demidov at 88, and Cole Caulfield now at 86, Lane Hudson at 71, Zorovsky at 65, Slav at 56, McMichael at 56, Sergachev at 49, Newhook at 48, Noah Dobson at 43, Seneca at 42, Clark at 39, Drysdale 38, Bobby Brink at 35, Kirby Dock at 33, Nomark, Reinbacher, Waugh, Kuryatov rounds out. And then goaltending wise, Fowler played another 60 games with a 900 save percentage, when Kosa had an 891. Not very well for Kosa, but this team has the potential to go all the way. I feel like they have the potential to go all the way, and if not this year, most certainly next year, as we're retaining Sergachev, and there's not very many players that are going to be leaving in free agency at the end of this year. Um, so it's a division rival, a big rivalry. In game number 1 at home against the Toronto Maple Leafs, we end up with a big 5-3 win and a 4-2 win in game 2. In game 3 in Toronto, that is going to be a loss, a 4-2 loss. Game number 5, or game number 4, sorry, in Toronto is a 6-3 win, going back home for game number 5 now. And or game number 6, and that, or no, game number 5, and that is a big win for Montreal. And we're out of the first round, and we're playing the Buffalo Sabres, who made the finals last year. It would be a great way to see us win. Um, Definitely not going to be an easy series at all. We do have home ice advantage though, so we do win game 1 in overtime and game 2. So far, we're undefeated at home. Game number 3, it is a win, and for the potential sweep to make the conference finals, and we sweep the Buffalo Sabres, and we only have 1 loss so far, and that was a close game as well. Now we are playing the Devils. The Devils are also 8-1. They're a very, very, very good team here. Um, I would honestly like to see us win. We have the second best power play, the ninth best penalty kill, the first best goals against, and the second most goals for. So let's hope we can squeak out a win here. It'd be great to see. Not just great to see, it'd be great to have, especially in the conference finals. Um, we've been working to come back here for a very long time, and simming this first game is not looking great as we lose 5-1. Um, Obviously, we're not at home. The Devils won 62 games and only lost 20 games all season. So this is definitely going to be a very, very hard series to win. We do squeak out a win in game number 2, 5-4 overtime win. We do squeak out another win, 5-4 win. In game number 3 and game number 4, we do squeak out a win. And in game number 5, we have a potential to win the series in New Jersey. Honestly, I'm not really sure what to say here besides for this is just outstanding to be watching right now as we just performed one of the greatest couple games I think this team has ever performed. And in game number 5, we're up 1-0. With the 11th best penalty kill, we kill off a big crucial penalty. And there's only 10 minutes left. We take another penalty, and there's 7-5. Beckett Seneca scores again with 5. Zorovsky scores now. 3 minutes. Heischer scores, and the floodgates are open with 33 seconds left. we have a potential to see Montreal go off to the Stanley Cup Finals, and of course, it's going to be CPU versus CPU. Let us see those last 30 seconds of Canadians hockey. I am just praying that we can squeak out a bit of a win here. This is such a big game. Um, so great to watch. I'm just frozen into words to understand what this team has done. Um, I'm very shocked as well. This Devils team is very good, but so are we. Um, it's not over yet though. There's 22 seconds left, and Suzuki wins it back to Dobson. Suzuki passes it to Caulfield. Caulfield tries to go around Hughes. Hughes does not. Luke Hughes passes it to Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes now ices the puck. Not called icing. 6 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and now 1, and we are going off to the Stanley Cup Finals. The first time we've made the finals since 2021, and I just can't wait to see what this team has in store in the finals and who they play. I'm so excited, so glad to see this win, really. Um, I'm really just at a loss for words. I'm just so shocked that we actually squeaked out a win here. This is the best team we've ever played in the playoffs, and we won. And we've had better teams than this and still lost, so I'm just so very shocked that we squeaked out a win here. 3-1 win, and the first star is back at Seneca. That is something to see. We traded for Seneca at the draft last year, just so we could be able to have a little bit more cap space, and that has worked out perfectly. The Dallas Stars are winning 3-2 against and we are going to be playing the Dallas Stars. Marty St. Louis said our goal was to make the finals this year, and we did that. And our AHL team, though, they made it all the way to the conference finals as well, but they ended up losing. That is unfortunate to see, but here we are in the NHL in 2030. This is year number 5, and we're looking for a first Stanley Cup here. And it's not going to be easy. We are playing the Dallas Stars. Dallas is a very, very good team as well. We do have home ice advantage, though, in the Stanley Cup Finals. And in game number 1, it's going to overtime. And we end up losing. Mikko Rantanen had both the goals for Dallas. A little bit upsetting to see there as we lose game number 1 at home. Our first home loss of the entire playoffs. That's upsetting. But in game number 2, we take a 2-1 lead, goals from Seneca and Kumarov. 4-1 lead, Demidov and Connor McMichael, and then Cole Caulfield finishes the game in the third period with a 5-1 win. Very big win. Heading to Dallas now. This could be huge if we could squeak out 2 wins here in Dallas, or even just a win in Dallas. We're down 2-1, Zizekas and Rantanen, but Demidov scores. Tie game now, Fogle scores. And our 2 goals coming from Suzuki and McMichael. Game is going to overtime, and in overtime we lose. Merrill Heiskanen scores with 3 seconds left, or only seconds into overtime. And we're down 2-1 in this series. It would be very, very upsetting to see us lose, but here we go in game number 4, 1-1 at the end of 1, 4-1 at the end of 2, and 4-1 to finish out the game. We're going back to Montreal with a tied series. Hopefully we can squeak out a win here and go win in Dallas. If not, game 7 is always a possibility. But this is the biggest game these Habs players have ever played in. And we start off slow, down 2-0, down 3-1, and we lose 5-1. Hopefully we can end up winning in game number 6. We don't want to hope to win. We need to win in game number 6. This could be the last game of the season, if not a win here. And at the end of one, it's 1-1. Heminen and Caulfield. Goals from Caulfield. Caulfield has both of our goals so far tonight. On the power play, we don't do anything. Shows why we have one of the worst power plays in the league yet again. And a goal from Ivan Demidov. It's 3-1 with 9 minutes left. Our penalty kill holds up strong for us yet again. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And it's a 4-1 win. Nick Suzuki scores the empty netter. And we are heading to Montreal for a Game 7 Stanley Cup Finals game. If it couldn't be more interesting, I wouldn't know what else to say. But this has got to be the most interesting game we have ever seen on this channel. It is a Game 7 Stanley Cup Finals, and we're going to be simming the whole game. At the end of one, Joshua Wall, the fourth liner we called up at the trade deadline, scores to tie the game with a goal from Foegele. At the end of two, Connor McMichael scores to take the lead late in the second, but a power play goal from Caulfield as well to start off the period. And with the last period of play, and Caulfield scores again. But we're on the penalty kill now. Caulfield has 2 goals in this game. It is 4-2. We're on the power play, and nothing happens. At the 10-minute mark, almost, we score a power play goal. Zarovsky scores 5-2 Montreal lead. We have a chance to win the Stanley Cup with 8 minutes left. We're almost there. 7 minutes left. 6 minutes now. 5 minutes. 4 minutes. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. 1 minute, 44 seconds left, and we're going to jump into this game just so we could see who hoists the Stanley Cup. And wow, this has been such a great year for this team. We made a push at the deadline. We said we wanted the cup. We said we wanted to make moves. We wanted to win. And what has Montreal done? They proved that they want to win as well. And now, with a minute and 3 seconds left, we have a chance to win on the power play, a chance to win the Stanley Cup. And all I really have to say is, wow, this team has proven we've done so much to bring this team to a Stanley Cup. It feels good to finally be able to play with this team. This team is so good, and so many early playoff exits. So many bad starts to seasons. This year was another bad start, but I told you at the trade deadline I wanted to make a move for this team to win. The team did it, and just exhilarating to see, the outcome from, the moves we made, getting in Clark, getting in Newhook, and most importantly, Sergachev. Mikhail Sergachev was the big name we brought in at the deadline. He was the second best player available, and we got him. And with 6 seconds left, 4 seconds left, 3, 2, and 1, and we are Game 7 Stanley Cup champions. That is something phenomenal. And this team has taken so many big steps to get here. It's been long. It's been 5 episodes of trying to make this team, work, but it's great to finally see it win. Fowler proving that he can be our franchise goaltender. Cole Caulfield wins the Conn Smythe Trophy with 31 points, 15 goals, 16 assists, and recently being an assistant captain. And to win it at home too is just something even more special. And there it is, the Stanley Cup, the hardest trophy to win in sports, and we did it. Many teams will, they'll contend for years and they'll never be able to win. They'll build together. Some of the greatest teams like Boston built one of the greatest teams with the most wins, and they didn't even make it out of the second round. Um, but Nick Suzuki hoists the Stanley Cup, and that is a great thing to see. And he's going to hand it off to none other than Cole Caulfield. Suzuki to Caulfield. What an image that is. All Habs fans love it. Love to see just that in itself. Um, just great to see. Great to see Caulfield hoist it. Especially getting it from Nick Suzuki. The next player we're going to give it to is a veteran player in Alex Newhook, who we acquired at the deadline. He's been a Hab. He was traded away, came back, and he hoists the cup. Not in his original number, in number 17 though, Josh Anderson's number. But Alex Newhook hoists the Stanley Cup. So great to see. And the last player that's going to get the cup is going to be Noah Dobson. He's been here for so long, not really, but he's been here throughout it all. Another assistant captain, and he hoists the Stanley Cup at center ice. Great to see again. Just another great season. The 25th Stanley Cup in Habs history. And there they all are, lining up at center ice for the team picture. Marty St. Louis wins his cup. Nick Suzuki wins, Caulfield wins. Unfortunately, there's one player who didn't make it. That one player who didn't make it, though, was Brendan Gallagher. Would have been great to see Gallagher make it to this point where we win the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, he didn't, and that is just a little bit sad to see that he just didn't make it to win his one cup. Price didn't either. Those are two Habs legends that just never got the chance to win it. Bobby Brink, Nick Suzuki, Bobby Brink, Cole Caulfield, Clark, Kosick, Doc, Demidov, Dobson, Drysdale, Fowler, Hudson, Kumanyato, Michkov, Newhook, Normak, Reinbacher, Waugh, Seneca, Shergachev, Slav, and Zarovsky are all now Stanley Cup champions. The third star, Nick Suzuki, the second star, Connor McMichael, and the first star, Cole Caulfield. And the game-winning goal to win the Stanley Cup came from none other than the guy who scored the third goal, and Connor McMichael wins us the Stanley Cup with his game-winning goal. So happy to see that. Now that we are the Stanley Cup champions, we're going to have a bit more leeway with contracts. People are going to be a bit more team-friendly now. But we are Stanley Cup champions, and that is the perfect way to end out this 5th year. Honestly, just sort of speechless to say. I don't really know much to say. The Stars put up a great fight. The Stars got as close as you can get to winning a cup without winning it. Which is just unfortunate to see for them, I'm going to be honest. That was a really unfortunate end for them. But here we have it. The draft lottery results: St. Louis at 1, Los Angeles at 2, Vancouver 3, Florida via Pittsburgh at 4, and the Islanders at number 5. Hopefully, we can keep it up going into free agency now. We're going to view a couple retired players. I doubt we have any. Brad Marchand does retire. Duchesne, Kadri, Sagan, Hedman. Hedman retires with the Lightning. John Carlson does not retire. Brett Burns retires at 45. Wow. At an 80 overall still. He hits 1,000 points. Roman Josi, almost at 1,000, but with Tampa Bay. Evander Kane, Brock Nelson, Tyler Toffoli, Habs legend, Morgan Riley, Sean Couturier, Vladimir Tarasenko, Paul Mary also retires, Andres Lee retires, Backlund, Schmaltz, Thorne, Jenner, Gustav Nyquist, Zucker, Marcus Johansson, Gostisbehere, Kevin Hayes, Tays, Vetrano, Letty, OEL. Just a lot of very, very good players retiring. So many good players retiring, and in between the pipes, Allmark does decide to hang it up. Allmark retires. Kemper, Grubauer, Korpisalo, Elvis Merzlikins, Casey DeSmith, Cal Peterson, and Holmberg retires. Just so nice to see, a big Stanley Cup win. Something I've wanted this team to do. Something I've tried to get this team to do since day number one. I thought we could have won within the first year. I really did think we could have won. We did not. We ended up winning in year number 5, though. That is great to see. And we don't even have a single draft pick pretty much this entire draft. So we're just going to send the whole draft. We have 2 draft picks. I'm not really, worried about draft picks right now. We're in that window to contend, and now that we won a cup, we have 5 more seasons to go out and win 5 more cups. We do have a little bit of a goaltending issue, but now that we can see the awards, we will. We won the Stanley Cup, the Devils won the President's Trophy, Dallas wins the Campbell, obviously, and we won the Prince of Wales. Individual awards, Jack Hughes wins the Art Ross and the Hart, Norris goes to Bouchard, Lady Bing to Jack Hughes, Schmaltz wins the Calder, Caulfield wins the Conn Smythe, the Vezina goes to however you want to say his name, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Berdamov wins the Jennings, Walker wins the Bill Masterton, the Flames coach wins the Jack Adams, the Selke goes again to Miller, Ted Lindsay to Jack Hughes, and the Maurice Rocket Richard for back-to-back years goes to Austin Matthews. And, well, it's time to re-sign some players, and we have a big name to re-sign, and that is Nick Suzuki. We have $30 million in cap space. Nick Suzuki is our captain. And that is a contract I'm not a big fan of, I'm going to be honest. I will give him a no-trade clause, but I don't want to do 6 years either. I want to do 4 years at no movement clause at 14 and a half. So whatever we can get 14 and a half for, we'll do 6 years, I guess. I don't want to do 6 years though, because he will pretty much plummet off. So 2 years, no movement clause for 14.75. We'll see if he accepts that. I don't want to let our captain down in any way, but I'm just not willing to give somebody that big of a contract. Zarovsky, though, we will offer a contract to 7.5. He's also wanting a lot. We gave him a qualifying offer, so that is us doing our part. We do have Kosa, who has proven to be a starting caliber goaltender. Don't know if I'm willing to give him that much money either. Dobish, of course, we're going to re-sign. That is a very team-friendly deal. Radulov, we are also going to sign. Very team-friendly, but Kosa is asking for $8 million, and with the way, our team is right now, we definitely don't need to worry. We definitely need to do something, as we have very, very, very many players sort of asking for way too much money. Obviously was hoping it'd be the opposite. Players asking for less, but some of these players are just asking for too much money. We're going to give Kapanen his 1-year deal. LJ Mooney, who developed really well last year, we'll give him a 1-year deal. Joshua Waugh will obviously offer a contract to. Voner, we will give a contract to as well. All these RFAs we're going to sign. Cheap deals. Obviously, we kind of need them, so we will sign them. Florian Jacki, of course, and Doc, we're going to let go. UFA-wise, Alex Newhook, we're going to let go. We're going to release Alex Newhook. We can't sign him. Connor McMichael, probably going to have to release Connor McMichael. Clark, probably going to have to release him as well. These RFAs, though, are a big worry. Zarovsky mainly. I want to give Zarovsky sort of a 5-year deal with a no movement clause. Or we'll do a modified no trade clause and we'll do 90%. And we'll up it to 7.6. We'll see if he accepts that. Beckett Seneca, on the other hand, we can do 4.5. Well, we'll see how low we can go before his bar is at full. 4.75 for Zorowski, or for Seneca, sorry. And then for David Reinbacher, I think I'm just going to trade. Doc, we're obviously just going to let go. Clark is going to be our extended, but we'll go up ahead a day just to see. He rejects. Zorowski also rejects, which is an interesting thing to see. I don't want to give him a no trade clause. I'll do a modified no trade clause. We'll do that to 62%, and we'll go up $250,000. I'm going to reject. I won't resign because of the trade protection. I'd like to be getting what fits his needs. Zorowski, I don't want to give you a no trade. Actually, I can't give him a no trade clause. I am okay with that. I'm going to reduce his dollar value though, because you do not need to be making that much money, sir. I'll give you a $275,000 at the 7 million mark, because you don't need to be making much more than that. Then our captain, Nick Suzuki. I'm going to give him a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal. I don't want to give him too much. I will give him a no movement clause though, but I don't want to be, I don't want to be spending too much money on our captain. So 15.5 million for Nick Suzuki for only 3 years though. Clark, I just don't think it's physical for us to keep him, and McMichael, I just don't think it's in our vicinities to be able to keep him. Nick Suzuki, I have to reject your offer with the high taxes around here, except for Zorowski. See, this is really kind of unfortunate that the player doesn't want to sign with us because of taxes. I feel like that shouldn't be in this game, to be honest with you. 14.8 though for 6 years. We'll see if he accepts. If he does, that could be a very, very bad contract in the future. But the cap is going up every single year, so we hope he accepts with stability. So for the rest of this year, for the rest of our franchise, he will be here. He'll be 36 at the end of it, making 14, pretty much 15 million, and we can't even offer our UFA's contracts anymore. Our UFAs are just, we can't offer them anything really, which means we won't be able to offer our UFA goaltender and Kosa anything. So that is going to pretty much be it for that part. We're going to have to make a trade. If that us being trading Dobson, or we just gotta trade somebody to create a bit of cap space, like a Drysdale maybe who's making 8 million, or really just that. Maybe even trading away Arbor Jacki, who's making $2 million a year, to play in Laval. I will check to see his buyout. His buyout for 2 years at 6.6 million. It's not really worth it to eat that cap. We'll just probably have to trade him and hope he becomes a UFA at the end of next year. But besides for that, it's going to be hard to keep this team good, so we're gonna see if we can trade Jamie Drysdale heading into free agency. We did create a lot of cap very well, which is good for us, but in free agency we need a defenseman. Pretty sure we need 2 defensemen and 2 centers. We do have tons of players developing now, so I will propose a trade. Obviously, we need to get Jamie Drysdale's big contract out of here, as well as this Nick Suzuki contract, where he's making way too much money. But Jamie Drysdale, I will check to see his teams. So Buffalo, Boston, Rangers, Oilers, or the Blackhawks. I'll probably trade him to Chicago, because Chicago is not in our division and we want to kind of keep him away as far as possible. So Jamie Drysdale for pretty much, if you can give us a center not making too much money. Centerman making pretty cheap money, and that would be Mason West here. Mason West, 22 years old, drafted in 2025, 3 years left. He's an 83. That'd be a great one-for-one deal, and we do get it. We clear up a bit more in cap now. So now we have 3 centers. Our left wingers are not very good, and Uri. Our right wingers are very, very well. But there might be somebody else I'm willing to trade, and that might be... Now we need defensemen as well, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Our defensive core has plummeted. I'm going to have to go out and make a trade, or just a signing, or even really a trade. Um, if we could trade even Mikhail Sergachev somewhere for somebody, for just something. He's a 89 overall, but we do need just cap space. Um, we could trade him to the Ducks, or the Hurricanes, or the Stars, who we just beat, or the LA Kings. So let's see. The LA Kings defensively, they don't have anybody. Goaltending wise, they don't really have very many. They have Carter George, all skaters and all. Quentin Byfield making 23 million. Liam Greentree making 7 million. Alex Lafreniere, not Alexis. Um, Not really very many players I'm very interested in. I'm going to go through the teams though and just kind of see maybe players I might be interested in trading for that are young, promising, high potential players. The Devils I'm not trading to at all. I would like nothing to do with them. Matthew Schaefer, 6 million for 3 years. I don't know if Sergachev has the Islanders in there, and he does not, unfortunately. He does have the New York Rangers though, which they have Fox and Lynn. Lynn is making 9.56 for 5 years, or Snyder for 1. Unfortunately, we're not going to be trading with them, or the Senators. Don't really want anything to do with the Senators. And the Philadelphia Flyers. They don't really have very... Their best defenseman is Andrea Robertson. Brady Tkachuk signed here. Villanova. Kale McCarr is in San Jose. That is a very interesting... San Jose should be very good, I'm assuming. Sam Dickinson for 3 years at $7 million. That is a pretty good deal right there. And if Sergachev has the Sharks in there, which I really hope he does, which he does, Sergachev for Dickinson, and I don't want to do that 1-for-1 just because I kind of want something in return. A 3rd round pick would be great. We don't get it. 1-for-1 it is, and that is rejected. So we'll add a 4th round pick from this year. That is rejected. We'll add a 5th round pick, see if that sweetens it in any which way. It does not. And we'll throw in a 3rd from next year. That is also rejected. Maybe even a rookie skater here in Mason Waugh. See if that goes through, and that does go through now. So now we created a little bit more cap space. And I think it might be time to get rid of some Soderberg, and see where our cap is. We really kind of have the depth part figured out. We just give out really good contracts. It's just a shame that Nick Suzuki wanted 14 million and a no movement clause. I would have been fine giving him no movement clause, but now in free agency, we now have a bit more cap space to go out and get defensemen. I'm not looking for star-studded defensemen anymore. I just need some decent defensemen that can fill out, that aren't going to cost me an arm and a leg. Looks like a defenseman's going to cost me a lot of money. I'm not really looking to give out a lot of money here. Nico Mala, that's even how you want to say that. Tapayan Nemala. So I'm back here. Unfortunately, that last clip cut off though. Um, while I was doing the editing, and I'm very kind of upset about this, as I was doing the editing towards the end of that video. The video ended up being corrupt, so I couldn't end up finishing showing pretty much who I signed and who I didn't sign. And who I ended up signing was Anthony Mantha, um, Adam Grosjean, and there was a defenseman I had signed in Riker Evans. All three of them I had signed. The video did end up getting corrupt, so I don't have the rest of the video. That's all I ended up signing them to. We don't have very much cap space left, I will say that. But that was the end of the video. Um, so I'm kind of glad it wasn't the entire clip, like the entire segue of that video, which is nice. But that last part did get corrupted, which is unfortunate. Um, but I just do want to say thanks for watching. I'm very upset that that last part did not get saved. But thanks for watching. Um, hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the difficulty on my end. I'll try my best to make sure that never happens again. There's not much I really can do towards that, but I will try my best to make sure that never happens. But I do just want to say thanks for watching. Hope you guys really did enjoy, and I will see you guys tomorrow for my next video doing a recap of the Habs game tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers. And it's Christian Dvorak's return game. So my video should be coming out tomorrow sometime around 3:30 to 4 o'clock. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed.